Hello, everyone in Anxiety-Free Life. My name is Naomi Stockman, hypnotherapist, nutritionist, and anxiety specialist. And it is once again Friday at 4 p.m. And I have remembered to jump on. If I'm a few minutes late, I'm sorry about that. So if you're watching this later, just put a hashtag replay if it's on Facebook, or perhaps a comment if you're on YouTube. Give me a like. It's always appreciated. Thank you very, very much for your support. So talking about anxiety today when driving. So I have many clients that come in and they'll say that the first panic attack that they ever had was when they were driving, or they'll come in and say, I can drive, but I can't drive outside my local area, or I can't go on motorways, or I freak out if I'm alone in the car, or there's a whole stack of things. I even had people where they can drive alone, but they can't drive with passengers in the car. And so the car can be a really big trigger for anxiety. So I want to talk about why that is. And if you've got your own personal experience, please comment and let me know what's going on for you so that we can offer you support as well, and sort of contribute so that other people can hear what you're experiencing, because it helps us to know that we're not alone in what we're experiencing. So you get in the car and, you have this anxiety and you think, why is this happening to me? What's wrong with me? I used to be able to drive. That's the other thing people say is, I used to be fine. So often the root cause of this stuff, there's always a cause. There's always a reason. The unconscious mind is extremely simplistic in that it has one job, and that's to keep us safe. It runs all our responses. It runs our body, and it definitely runs our emotions and our anxiety. So when we're talking about anxiety, the unconscious mind has picked up, for whatever reason, that I'm not safe. I'm not safe. Now, safety is not just a physical thing. Safety is an emotional thing. It's about the experience that we're having. Is it safe for me to be me? Am I adequate? Am I acceptable? Am I able? And by able, I mean capable. So our unconscious mind. So if you think about driving, it's a massive responsibility. I mean, you are behind the wheel of something, a ton of metal flying around, other vehicles, which are also a ton or more of metal. I mean, think about trucks and so forth. And you've got people's lives in your hands. So it is a big responsibility. It should be taken seriously. But the truth is that you are adequate and able to manage a vehicle. You've learned it. You've been trained in it. And so our unconscious mind, for whatever reason, has decided, if we're having panic attacks or anxiety in the car, that it's too overwhelming, that it's too dangerous, that the consequences are too big. Or the other thing the unconscious mind does is it will stop you from doing things that it thinks is risky for you, threatening. And like I said, that doesn't have to be physical threat, it can be emotional threat. And so if we're going for a drive, we're moving out of our familiar area, we're going away from our home, we're going away from the people who can help and support us, then those things are very prevalent for the unconscious mind. So if you think about the purpose of fear, for example, and anxiety is based around fear. So whether it's rational, irrational, aware and conscious, or unaware and unconscious, fear, the purpose of fear is to stop us from being in a situation or doing an activity or having something happen where we are unsafe. And when you think about it like that, then anxiety makes a whole lot of sense. And having anxiety when you drive can make a whole lot of sense too, if you break it down. Now, you can't figure out or solve anxiety by thinking in your brain. The causes don't need to be rational. They may not make sense. And I often have people that come in and they'll say, I know why I have this. Then that may be the real reason. But often when I take people into a session, the stuff that comes up is not what they were expecting. And they come out and they're like, I was so not expecting that. I was not expecting to have this stuff around family members. I wasn't expecting to have stuff around that age when things come up. So if you think about fear, keeping us at home, keeping us safe, keeping us where we're not going to be in situations we can't manage. So like I said, it's not just physical safety. If you go into a situation where you feel completely out of your depth, if you feel humiliated or unable to connect or rejected, or you feel like you don't belong, that stuff's all not safe. It's totally not safe for us to feel rejected or inadequate or so even if you have social anxiety, it can show up in panic attacks when you drive, because you might have why are you leaving the house? Where are you going? What are you doing? So there's so many emotional responses that are not safe for us. So I've treated a lot of people with driving anxiety. As I said, it's very common. So that can be panic attacks when driving. And like I said, often the first panic attack people have, they say the first one I ever had was when I was driving. And it usually happens, this stuff starts usually people have driven and they've driven fine, and then there'll be a time when this stuff starts, and it can be after a significant event, but it doesn't have to be related to driving. So for example, someone is fine, they're carefree, they're confident, and they have a baby. All of a sudden, you're now a mum. You're responsible for another life. And it might not even, the anxiety, I mean, me personally, I think that when you have a child, you develop a whole new emotion that you haven't really felt before, which is worry. Well, that happened to me. And then from there, it only takes to have one moment in your life where you think, if that had gone another way, it could have ended up a disaster, to actually have your unconscious mind say, it's not safe for you to be, in a situation where you are not adequate or capable of keeping this child safe. And that could be around driving. Even though there's no link to driving or there's been no car accidents or anything, it can basically say, no, you need to be at home looking after your child. The unconscious mind just links stuff together, and you don't need to consciously understand. Hey, Michelle, I just saw your comment. Thanks for watching. So being able to communicate to our unconscious mind that we have the capability, we are adequate, we are skilled enough, we're trained enough, you can know this stuff in your mind, but it needs to be conveyed to your unconscious mind, because that's what's running the anxiety. I'm so sorry about my dog. And then from that, we need to find out what the initial sensitizing event was, the ISE, and be able to resolve that, because there's always something in our younger years that has caused this to happen. That's brought up the anxiety. Sorry, excuse me. Oscar, come here. Sorry about the dog. Okay, so there's always something in our past that has caused the trigger. Hi, Tracy. That has caused that trigger, has caused that to come up and give the unconscious mind some fuel, some initial beliefs, some ammunition to say, right, we're going to make you anxious in that situation. So if you do experience anxiety when driving, a good place to start would be to start journaling. Keep a journal of when this happens, where you're going, what time of day it is, and what it is that you were actually thinking or focusing on around that time. And often people say, I wasn't thinking of anything, but if you can keep a log of things, you might notice that it's only on certain days, or it's only going certain places. And then that at least gives you an idea of what is going on in your unconscious mind. So it's always very, very interesting what comes up when we do imagination work and hypnosis, and the things that can come up it's just not predictable at all. So that's it for Friday, and have a fabulous weekend. Once again, apologies about Oscar there in the background. He is very territorial, and he thinks that no one should come into our street at all ever. Have a beautiful weekend. All right. Bye-bye.